Traveling in Europe is expensive, that's a fact. However, Europe consists of over 40 countries depending how the borders are drawn, and in this case generalization doesn't apply. I've visited almost 40 of those countries and I can tell you that there are some beautiful but also very affordable countries in Europe. So in this video I'll share with you top 5 European countries which are really cheap to travel, what does it cost to have a trip there, and what makes these places so amazing. I have visited all of those places, so I will also give you my personal tips and recommendations. The last place is actually something you may not have heard of. Not many people know that this country is in Europe, but it's one of the cheapest on the list and definitely one of the most beautiful in the world. Starting with a country in the Balkans known for its rich history, beautiful scenery and friendly people. In Albania you can explore ancient towns like Berat and Gjirokastër, which are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Along the coast you'll find stunning beaches and clear blue waters on the Albanian Riviera. In the capital city, Tirana, colorful street art fills the lively streets. With its natural beauty and welcoming atmosphere, Albania is a great place to explore and make unforgettable memories. I have spent in Albania only a few days, which definitely wasn't enough to get to know the country very well, but I couldn't recommend it more. We stayed mostly at a beach house, which is a great thing to do, a better option than many newly built huge hotels for all-inclusive tourists. If you want to spend your time mostly in nature, I strongly advise you to see the southern part of Albania, where the beaches are much more beautiful and there are mountains and cliffs right next to the shore, which allows to admire the beauty of the country's nature. Going south past the city of Flore, you will climb a pass to get to the southern part, and as soon as the road starts to descend, you will have an amazing view of the shore and cliffs. From the pass you can take a short hike to Mount Chica to even have better view. Watch out though, because there can still be snow on top if you're traveling in winter or early spring. Albania is one of the most affordable countries in Europe. Let me break down the costs for you. Traveling on a budget, you can spend a whole day for less than $30, including accommodation, local transportation and meals. If you have a bigger budget, for $70 you can have much nicer hotels and meals in better restaurants. The next budget travel destination makes me very excited to talk about. Let me show you my home country, Poland, a country in Central Europe bursting with history, charm and natural beauty. Here you can explore medieval cities like Kraków, Wrocław and Gdańsk, where cobblestone streets lead to majestic castles and cathedrals. You can also enjoy the nature while discovering the tranquil lakes of Mazury and the towering peaks of the Tatra Mountains, perfect for outdoor adventures. I could advertise to you Poland on, and I may be not objective, but I don't care. I truly believe it's one of the most beautiful countries in Europe, very much underrated. If you do not have enough time to travel through the whole country, I would recommend to visit the northern or the southern part. The first one's itinerary would consist of the Tri-City at the Baltic Sea with the beautiful city of Gdańsk, which alone can be a travel for a few days. Besides the Tri-City, close by are the beautiful beaches. Beware though that the most popular places are extremely crowded during summer. Less than an hour drive from Gdańsk is the famous Malbork Castle, which is the biggest castle in the world and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Not that far you can go further south to Toruń, another beautiful city with a medieval center, or Warsaw, which is the biggest Polish city and its capital. It's a really modern city with amazing museums and many cultural events. For the southern part of Poland, your itinerary would probably begin in my hometown Kraków. It's the most beautiful city in Poland. Used to be the Polish capital for centuries, and the historical old town amazes visitors from all over the world. It's a very vibrant city with amazing nightlife, restaurants and cafes on every corner. Make sure to visit the old Jewish quarter Kazimierz to have a drink there and enjoy the evening with the locals. From Kraków there are 3 most popular destinations to visit that are very close by, and I strongly recommend all of them. The first one is a former salt mine in Wieliczka, which has become an underground city. which is a unique place, must-see for every traveler. About an hour drive west, you can also visit the German Nazi concentration camp Auschwitz. It's a horrible experience, but definitely worth visiting. For those that also love outdoor adventures, go south from Kraków to see the beautiful Tatra Mountains. Probably my favorite place in Poland next to Kraków. Beautiful mountain lakes and majestic peaks make it one in a lifetime experience. Poland is really affordable comparing to Western Europe, and the costs of travel vary depending on the part of the country. However, you should be able to spend a day for less than $30 if you travel on a budget. For more demanding travelers, you can expect a cost of about $64 when staying in nicer hotels and restaurants. The next affordable destination is a captivating country in Eastern Europe with plenty to discover. In Romania, you will explore the all-famous Transylvania, the home of Dracula with its castles and medieval towns. Another highlight are the Carpathian Mountains with stunning views and hiking trails. The city of Bucharest, the vibrant capital, is a place where you can experience its lively atmosphere, visit historic landmarks like the Palace of the Parliament, and indulge in delicious Romanian cuisine. I have spent a week in this country and I was only able to grasp a small bit of everything Romania offers. We started with the Carpathian Mountains, which are located in central Romania, and I definitely recommend to spend a few days there, starting with Brașov, a beautiful city located at the footsteps of the mountains. From there you can visit the famous Castle of Bran, which is advertised as the one where the original Dracula lived. Actually, there's another castle that climbs the same, but is not as spectacular. I would recommend to visit both anyway, as the second is at the famous Transfăgărașan Road. This road is hailed as one of the most scenic drives in the whole world. Winding through the Carpathian Mountains, this engineering marvel offers breathtaking views of lush valleys, cascading waterfalls and towering peaks. For us, this was an absolute highlight. However, check ahead if the road is accessible, because until late spring there's still a lot of snow on the road and it may be closed. I also advise you to stay a couple of days in the capital Bucharest. As already mentioned, it's a vibrant city with great restaurants and nightlife. And the Romanian Parliament, the second largest building in the world, is a landmark that impresses everyone. It took us roughly 45 minutes to just walk around it. Now, the prices. Romania is still quite differential when it comes to income and prices between the rural areas and the cities. But the average price to spend a day in Romania on a budget wouldn't exceed $40. For a higher standard, expect a cost of over $80. The next country is located in southeastern Europe, and it is a captivating destination known for its rich history, stunning landscapes and vibrant culture. In Greece, you can admire the ancient ruins of Athens and the picturesque islands scattered throughout the Aegean and Ionian seas. Greece offers a diverse array of experiences for travelers. You can explore archaeological sites that date back thousands of years, relax on sun-drenched beaches with crystal clear waters, and wander through charming villages filled with whitewashed buildings and cobblestone streets. Greece is one of the most popular travel destinations in Europe, but that is for a good reason. The absolute must-see is the capital of Greece, Athens. For me personally, it is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen. With the majestic Acropolis in the center, great restaurants and charming streets, it was an unforgettable experience. For the travel in Greece's mainland, I also recommend to visit the Peloponnesian Peninsula, as there you'll be able to see many of the oldest ancient sites in Europe, such as Mykenæ, from where over 3000 years ago the famous king Agamemnon left to conquer Troy. Being so close to such distant history is something special. Besides Athens and the mainland, most travelers visit the islands. Greece has hundreds of them, but the most popular of them are Mykonos and Santorini. And although both are beautiful, don't expect low prices there. Additionally, these are pretty small islands, so it can get really crowded there. But after all, most Instagram pictures are taken on one of those two islands. The amazing thing about Greece is though that most of the islands are equally beautiful. Few years ago I took a trip with my family to another island, Karpathos, and I couldn't recommend it more. This rather unknown island has it all: beautiful beaches with crystal clear blue water, colorful towns and blue-white buildings so popular in Greece. And another thing that makes the country one of my favorites is the food. Greek cuisine is considered one of the best in the world, and I can tell why. Most places, anywhere you go, will serve delicious meals such as souvlaki, zucchini balls and moussaka. And if you're not in one of the most popular islands, the food and in general travel is really affordable. It's quite difficult to tell what the average cost is because the price span is the largest from all countries listed. But you'll definitely be able to travel for less than $50 a day, especially accommodation like Airbnb and food are cheap. For a higher standard travel you would even need 3 times more than that, but again, it all depends on where you want to go. Before we get to the last country, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if what you see is valuable for you. Now the last one is so often overlooked and most people don't even realize that this country is in Europe. And they are kind of right, because depending on how the border between Asia and Europe is drawn, it is in one of those two continents. And although most maps show Georgia as part of Asia, it is very well connected to Europe and is a member of many European international organizations. But the most important thing is that it's a charming country. It's located in the Caucasus region, where ancient traditions blend with breathtaking landscapes. In Georgia you can explore the historic streets of Tbilisi and the Caucasus Mountains and their picturesque villages. Lush valleys are perfect for hiking and skiing. I have spent a week in Georgia a few years ago and I can only regret that I didn't choose to stay there longer. We went there with Wizz Air for about $100 for two-way airplane tickets and landed in Kutaisi. The city itself is not the most important in Georgia, but from there you can take many daily trips. We went to 2 of the nearby canyons and were driven by the kindest taxi driver of all time, that even became our tour guide that day. The hospitality of Georgian people has become a legend already among travelers. We saw the more popular Okatse Canyon and the Kenchka Canyon that we only knew thanks to our driver, and it was absolutely amazing. For the whole day trip we paid $25, including a big tip. As this is not a huge country, you can easily travel around with minibuses. This is the most popular way to travel there and it's super cheap. The bus stations may look as a complete chaos. However, as soon as you get on the station, people will tell you where to go, or the drivers will be calling for people that want to leave for a certain destination. I know that doesn't sound like a perfect boarding procedure, but you just have to go with the flow and trust the locals. It really works. We took a trip to Tbilisi, Georgian capital. There are many churches that date back to 8th or 9th century, but also amazing modern glass and steel buildings. In the city center you can enjoy the delicious Georgian cuisine. Its khachapuri, khinkali or mtsvadi will make you fall in love with their food immediately. Even thinking of it made my mouth water right now. However, the most travelers that visit Georgia go there to admire the amazing Caucasus with peaks over 5,000 meters above sea level. It is an integral part of Georgian identity and landscape. And there are 2 most popular destinations to see the mountains and enjoy the true wilderness in the heart of Caucasus. You can either go to Stepantsminda in the northeastern part of the country, where you can admire not only the white peaks, but also probably the most popular landmark of Georgia, the famous Gergeti Trinity Church, where you can take a short hike to it and see the absolutely wonderful view on the church against the mountains. On the other hand, you can go to the more northwestern part of Georgia and go to Mestia, which lays at the footsteps of the so-called Matterhorn of Caucasus, Mount Ushba. The village of Mestia itself is something out of this world, as the skyline is decorated with medieval stone towers which create a unique view. From both of those locations I recommend to do a hike into the mountains, and if you have the time I recommend to even hire a guide and climb the famous Mount Kazbek, which is 5,054 meters above sea level. Now, that might be unexpected, since Georgia is actually not really in Europe, it is by far the cheapest of all countries listed. If you're traveling really on a budget, you can spend a whole day for less than $15. So a week in Georgia would cost you less than 100 bucks. That is insane. For mid-range traveling, it's still insanely cheap, about 33 bucks, and if you want to go bonkers and have a luxury travel, it would be around $100 a day. Spending time in an affordable country is one thing, the other is to actually get there, and that can actually be the highest cost of the travel. So to complete an insanely cheap travel, check out this video where I'm going through my step-by-step process for finding the cheapest and best flights possible. Cheers, safe travels and do zobaczenia!